Hey guys and girls, I tell you what, I got some comments and emails and letters from notes from several people this morning talking about the weather being so fantastic and them going fishing. Got one from Angela with a picture of a fish, no less. And I got a note from Rod saying he caught them good on a spinnerbait and one or two on top water. And I just couldn't stand it. I got grass. I just couldn't stand it, so I had to come down here and make a few throws. It was dead calm down here a little bit earlier. The wind has picked up a little bit, but it blew real hard, and then it's about quit right now. And I just thought I'd walk down here and make a few throws around here with a little Crappie Magic 16th ounce jig. Thought I might be able to catch a big bluegill, to be honest with you, and maybe a crappie too. I don't know. Oh, I got something right there. I think it's a bluegill. It's really, come off. That was not really the size I was looking for. I was looking for them a lot bigger than that. But I'm hoping to be able to catch a big one or two right here. Maybe, you never can tell. Could catch a crappie as well. There's a lot of grass right around the dock, and so there's a lot of crappie here, a lot of bluegill here, and I don't know that there's very much crappie here or not. I really haven't been crappie fishing lately, so I don't really know. I got something right there. That's a little bass. He come off. I got my barb smashed down, so a lot of these fish are gonna come off that I catch on this little bait. They said, "Oh yeah, Jimmy, you're supposed to believe you're catching fish." We see you jerking, setting the hook. We don't see you winding anything in. And looky there. Looky there. I got a crappie. It's not exactly a giant crappie, but it's a pretty good start for my little fishing excursion right here. And I've got a multicolored bait on. That's a nice little crappie. That's a good eating size crappie right there. I'm not going to eat him. He says, "Thank you very much, Jimmy." But I am going to give him some sugar. I got a little Crappie Magic jig. It's a 16th ounce Crappie Magic jig. I smashed the barb down on it. And I got a little Lucky Minnow sickle tail type bait on there. It's a little Lucky Strike crappie bait. They're about as good a crappie baits as you can get anywhere in the world. I'll tell you what, I throwed right out there in that little spot there. I might have to move a little bit. Caught that crappie. I had another one there, but I think that's a bluegill. I'm getting a bite every throw. I'm getting a bite every throw. You can't complain at all when you're getting a bite every throw, can you? I promise you, that is pretty neat. Now the bluegill are just hammering it. I mean, they're just hammering. And most of them I'm not going to hook. I'm probably, unless I hook them outside the mouth, I'm not going to catch too many of the bluegill unless they're the really large ones. And I don't know if there's so many bluegill here around the dock that not necessarily you're going to get so many bites that are not the large ones. God, I'm getting the bites every throw. Every throw I'm getting bites. I probably should have glued that, put a little drop of glue on there and glued that jig tail on, because I'm probably going to go through several jig tails. The fish are getting a hold of it. They're getting a hold of it, and I'm getting them, but they're just holding on to the tail. They're not quite large enough. A lot of them, those bluegill with those smaller mouths, are not large enough to get hooked very well. Not getting hooked at all. They're just grabbing hold of that tail. This little Crappie Magic jig has got a real good barb on it that allows you to get that plastic on there. And one of the good things about, there's another fish. What that one is, it feels like a pretty nice one there, whatever it is. Might be a big bluegill there. Oh yeah, that's a little bit larger size bluegill right there. That's the size we want right there. Now you get bluegill that size to bite, and you see now he's hooked. He's hooked in the mouth. He's hooked in the mouth. Look at the size of that bluegill. That's a big one right there. Woohoo! Big as your hand, upside down bluegill. Whoop! Right side up bluegill. Totally turned loose, free bluegill. That's fun right there. I thought that might have been a big old crappie or a bass. One thing about those bluegill is they just really, really fight. They catch red ear sunfish out at Lake Havasu out in Arizona in the month of May, I believe, April or May, when they're spawning out there that weigh 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 pounds. Yeah, 6 pounds. That's right. A bluegill weighing 6 pounds. And my buddy Larry Walker's been out there the last 2 springs, this year and last year, fishing, and he's caught bluegill over 3 pounds. Now, he's never caught a 4-pounder yet, but he's caught bluegill over 3 pounds. I'm getting fish on there. You can't really see my rod here. I'm getting bites every throw, several bites. You can only really tell I got one because I'm up close with this. You can't really tell I got one except when I've actually got one hooked, but I'm getting them hooked, and like there's one. There's another. There's another, and I got him the third time. And then he come loose. Tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna fish out a little bit deeper and see if maybe I can catch a crappie or two. Yeah, let's see if I can get something out there a little bit deeper. Maybe catch a crappie. Bluegill out there hitting it just like eating it up. I'm talking about eating it up. I mean eating it up every throw. And I think some of them are just holding on to the tail of that little lucky minnow. I'm not sure I can get it down there deep enough for a crappie. Throw it out there in that area. Because there's so many bluegill, and they're just holding on to it. They're holding on to the tail. If I had a little bit smaller hook in there, but we got a fairly decent sized hook in these, even though this is a 16th ounce bait. It's got the same hook in it, really, that's in the 1/8 ounce bait. So it's made to catch some really good sized crappie. And bass, you're going to get a few bass on that too. Surprised, I just had one little bass this morning. I'm surprised I hadn't had more bass. No luck out that way. Throw that thing out this way a little bit and see what happened. Get down a little, see if I can get it down a little deeper. So many bluegill, just look at there, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where I throw. There's just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bluegills around this pier. And you throw in any direction and they're gonna bite. But there are not many of them getting hooked. Not many of them at all getting hooked, but golly, are they biting. That little lucky minnow type baits, the lucky minnow and lucky curly tail and all of the different variations of the tail of that lucky minnow bait by Lucky Strike. It's fairly solid plastic. Now what that does is allows you to catch quite a few fish on one trail or one trailer, and especially if you're fishing a barbless hook like I do. You definitely don't want them pulling it down because the barber's not there to help hold the bait on, and a lot of times you lose your plastic. It's amazing how many bites I've had on this thing right here and still have my plastic. Come on, fish. I got in the grass. There's a lot of grass out there. I cannot let it go very deep. I think that may be one reason we're not catching too many crappie around the dock. Is there just not enough depth around close? Not enough depth around close for the crappie to come in here good. The water is so low, and that puts the grass up a lot higher than normal. Boy, but the crappie, I get one on. I mean, the bluegill, I get one on every throw. But I'm not catching many of them. I'm not catching many of them at all. Most all of them, I'm just throwing out there, and they're biting it and swimming a little bit with it, and then come off, just like that one there did. They can't get that hook in their mouth. Need a little bitty small hook, and I'd be catching one every throw. Thought I might be able to snatch a big crappie or two out there too. Caught that first crappie and hadn't caught a one since. I got in a little area there. Where I didn't get in the grass, and look what happened. Look what happened. I was coming down through a really nice area right there, and this is what happened. This is what happened. Yeah, what I'm talking about. That's what I'm wanting to do right there. Look at that crappie. Now that's a nice crappie. That's a little bit more what we're looking for. Of course, I was just hoping to catch some bluegill. I thought maybe if I catch some crappie, but I haven't been catching crappie lately, so now they may just now be coming in. It's your lucky day, Mr. Crappie. Okay, now if I can find that exact same alleyway, well, where's there right there on that one? I let it drop and got down there deeper, and I'm outside of the grass, right on the point of the grass, I guess. And let it go down a little bit deeper, and there I got bluegill bites. Doggone it! That one stretch there, I did not get a bluegill bite at one, and then I got a crappie. And one deal, you got to make this exact right cast. Seems like. What do I have here? I think that's a bluegill. Yeah, that was a bluegill. They're just not hooked. They're just holding on to it. They just hold on to it so long. It's probably the first cast that got down really deep enough to catch a crappie. A pretty nice crappie. There's another one. Boy, if you hit that spot, oh my goodness, I've got it. Oh, a Jimmy Houston Blaze Series, a Blaze Series rod on here. Look at that crappie. They're getting larger and larger and larger. That is a big crappie right there. I've got a 6 foot 6, medium heavy. This is medium heavy, so it's a bass fishing rod. You can bass fish with it. And I've got braid on here, and you can see my knot right here. I've got braid with about a 10 or 12 foot leader on here. I've got green fishing line on this leader. This is 8-pound test. 8-pound test, got a little double uni knot right there. So I've got a line that they can't hardly see. Jimmy Houston Blaze Series rod. That rod and reel sells for $79.95. That spinning rod and reel. That's a really good buy. That's a great buy. One of the best buys in the fishing rod marketplace. $79.95. We've got them at jimmyhouston.com. One of my problems is getting in that hole is getting down deep enough because the bluegill bite it so much. But that's pretty good right there. Get out there and get down deep, bait. A little crappie magic. Ooh, it's in the grass or fish? It's in the grass. In the grass. Felt pretty good there for a second. I think I had one. Sound like a walleye fisherman, don't I? I think I got one. I think I had one, and he got me down in the grass. I think it was another one of them good crappie, felt like, actually. There's not just stacked in down there, but there's a few of them down there. If you can get it down deep, just in the right spot. I got through that spot that time without getting a bite, and I got in closer and got in the grass. And the bluegill. Bluegill. All right, I'm gonna try one more cast in that spot. Oh, nice cast, Jimmy. Oh, it's a bluegill. You know, I might ought to just let it go down. I might ought to just pitch it out there a little ways. And right in that spot right there and let it go down in there pretty good. Down there a little bit deeper in that one spot. Not bring it by them. That acts like a bluegill there. Yeah, that's another bluegill. These little critters have been hard to catch. That's a nice little bluegill. Nothing wrong with that bluegill right there. When you grab a hold of bluegill, you want to kind of form a circle with your hand like that. See where that fin sticks up right back here? That fin sticking up. Now that will stick you and it hurts. Form and start up here at the top. And when you get a hold of them, hold still. When you get a hold of them, push down that fin and roll your hand back there where you're pushing the fin down. And that way you got the fin down and you can hold on to them and they won't stick you. Because if they stick you, it hurts. Got slime on my pants. I love it. Slime on my pants. I love it. All right, I'm going to try that again. Just pitching that out there a little ways and letting it go down in that one spot. Just letting it go down a little deeper there. On the edge of the grass, but on the outside edge of it. There's crappie are probably coming out of that grass and biting that bait, really. Did not get a bite that time. Till you get in close and then you get a bluegill bite. One more cast in there and I'm gonna move to another spot. Still on the pier, but another spot. I'm gonna let that one fall down pretty deep right there. See what happens. There's a piece of brush right out there. I might get hung in that brush, but there ought to be a crappie or two laying around that brush. Also, bluegill. Okay, guys and girls, I changed angles and moved over here where I caught that crappie a minute ago. Well, I thought I had a crappie. But I got another bluegill, but look at the size of that booger. That is a big bluegill right there. Goodness, look at the size of that guy, will you? Woohoo, that is a big one. He's fat as a butterball. Been eating my South Fresh fish food. This is where I caught that kind of a just a nice crappie a minute ago. It was right over there. Out in front of that dock is an open area where there's not any grass. And that's where I caught that crappie. I thought there might be a few more crappie right there. Made 2 casts in there and got 2 bluegills, so I don't know. And a little bit further out there and see what happens. Those crappie, wherever they are, they usually lay in a spot, and they're not. Oh, there was something that looked like a little bass there. They usually lay in a little spot that's not too wide an area. They'll be just sort of stacked in there, and if you miss that spot by very much, unless they swim out there and get it, it's full of bluegill over there in that spot too. Getting bluegill every throw, and they hold on to it for quite a while, and then I lose them. And what do we have here? Now, this sports fans, this is good right here. That's a tiny crappie, just a little bitty crappie. But the good thing about that little tiny crappie is that this little tiny crappie will grow up and be a big crappie. That's what's good about that crappie. We might try another spot or 2 here before we quit. Way out there, and let that thing fall down in that little open area there between the grass. And the bluegill just eat me up. They're getting it before the crappie hardly has a chance to. There might be a lot more crappie down there than what I think. They just don't have a chance to get it. Let me kind of try right at the corner of that dock. See if there might be a crappie over there. There's a bluegill over there, but I didn't catch him. But I had him biting me and on there for a second. One more long throw out there. Let's see what happens. That's a good one right in the front of that boat. And there's a fish. That's another bluegill. Another bluegill, I believe. Another bluegill, sure enough. I thought I was gonna pull that thing in, it'd be a big old crappie, and I just thought, that's just how much I know. You know, all those fins pushed down so they won't stick you. Let's move over and try another spot, okay? Yep. What do we have? Another bluegill coming in. Another bluegill. Well, this is what I thought I would catch a lot of, and sure enough, I have finally been catching a lot of, but I'm getting bites every single throw. I don't care who you are, where you're fishing. If you can get a bite every throw, you like it. You like it. You love it. A bite every throw. And I'm moving all around the pier, trying a lot of different spots, trying to find some more of those big crappie. Those big crappie are so much fun to catch. Those are big fish too. But there doesn't appear to be very many of them around here, because if there was, I could catch more of them. But I could sure get those bluegill bites every single throw. I mean, every single throw is bluegill bites. And several bites on every cast. I mean, not just one bite normally. The only time you ever get one bite on a cast is when you catch a fish. If you don't catch them, you're going to get several more bites. They just keep hammering it, keep hammering it. I throw the thing way off out there. It's out there in about probably 12 or 14, 15 foot of water right now. When I go down kind of deep, see what happens. I'm a little bit surprised I haven't caught a bass or 2 on this thing. Normally when you're throwing this bait, you catch some really nice bass on it at the same time. Okay, doesn't look like I'm gonna get one that throw. Not any out in that area there. That's a pretty nice open area though, out on the edge of the grass. Got a lot of grass right under the dock. All right, I'm gonna move back here where I started, and then I'm gonna wrap this little baby up. Okay, I'm out in my honey hole where my 2 big crappie were. See if there's any more big crappie out there. I think if you get just the right cast in the right spot, bluegill. I don't want the bluegill biting it. Can't stop them from biting it. One of the reasons I am getting a lot of bluegill hits is that pink or red head. If you have a pink or red head on your jigs when you're bluegill fishing, they love red. They love red. They really do. It's just a good color to catch them on. Nada. I think I've caught 14 fish and I've had 100 bites. That's probably about right. 100 bites and 14 fish. Yep, I'm sure that's about right. I'd like to catch one more big crappie. One more big crappie. Come on, big crappie. Another bluegill. Well, that's not a giant bluegill. That bluegill ate it. Now, if they all ate it like that, look where that bait is. It's way down in there. I mean, way down in there. If they all ate it like that, he swallowed it. Look at that. He swallowed that thing. I mean, way down in there. I don't have a bar, but I can't even hardly get it out. He's hooked in the side of the mouth, way back in there. I got it out of him. He was hooked in the side of the mouth. He wasn't. That was on that little big short one. Now I'll tell you what. More than likely, with this bait a lot shorter like that, more than likely, probably, I will catch a lot more fish on it. Oh, I said I was quitting, didn't I? One more cast. It's one more big crappie. Just one more cast. Just one more cast. It's one more big crappie. Just one more cast. Just one more cast. Catch one more big crappie. Just one more cast, just one more cast. I got a crappie. Have I got a crappie to end this thing? Oh, I got a big crappie. I got a big crappie. Come here, baby. Ah, I hit the right hole that time. Yes, I did. I hit the right spot that time. We end this baby with a big old crappie. If you got a chance to go fishing, if you're around close to a lake, go fish off the bank, go fish off a boat dock, go fish off a bridge piling. You know, my buddy Richard Jean, the fishing machine, got a great YouTube channel down there in Alabama. Been here fishing with me. He would rather catch these crappie right here than make love. And I'm telling you, he's probably better at catching the crappie too. I'm just saying. But anyway, look at that crappie right there. Richard Jean would love that. Richard Jean, buddy. This is for you. This is for you down there in Alabama. This is what's biting here in Oklahoma. Come see me, pal. Y'all guys and girls have a great one out there. And remember, I sure do love you. Woohoo!